Hello, welcome to a very, very special episode of the Logcast. I am your host, David Jones, and I guess you guys can introduce yourself. There's too many people for me to go round table.
Well, I'm the co-host, Kev Rose, and I suppose I need to introduce co-host and guest at the same time.
Yeah, that's why I was like, how in the world do I even introduce that?
And that would be me. That's Jephren Perez, Jeph86.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm joined by my beautiful wife.
Hi everyone, it's Mandie Perez.
Hi. It's the first time speaking to you, so it's should be good.
Yes, thank you guys so much for having me. This is awesome.
No problem. I mean, it's always good to get some more perspectives from the trip, rather than just have Jeph on. And it looks like, judging from that that E3 trailer, it looks like you had a pretty big part in the trip.
I lucked out. It was amazing.
Awesome.
Yeah, I think you're probably the envy of like every other winner who had like a girlfriend or wife.
Yeah, probably.
They probably all got a talking to, and they came home and was like, "What? I could have gone."
Right.
So, I figure for this we'll just kind of let you guys talk through the whole thing, and we'll ask questions along the way, and maybe we'll just kind of like start with what it was like when you first found out, and just kind of walk through that day, and then from there we'll just skip right to the trip.
Okay. So the contest, as most of you know, was announced at the beginning of March, and I know, Dave, you and I kind of just jumped at it. Like, you had your video submitted that first weekend after the announcement, and we had ours submitted, or I had mine, I guess, officially submitted that following weekend. So pretty early on in a 6-week contest, and I submitted it late Sunday night, early Monday morning, and actually found out that I won that Thursday, like, of that week. The way that they told me was through an email from Emma on their community team. And I was really excited, and then I saw the part that said I can't tell anyone about it until way later.
What were you doing at the time? I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you.
No, you're good. So basically, I had just woken up, and I usually, when I get up in the morning, I just check Facebook, Twitter, and all that just before work. So I was checking on all that out in the living room, and I got the message, and so I went into I was saying goodbye to Mandie, and actually she can probably tell this better than I can.
This was hysterical. So he has to get up and get ready for work and leave very early, like all before 6:30 a.m. So I'm usually still in bed for a little bit before he leaves. And I woke up to Jeph standing over the bed, smiling at me like the Cheshire Cat. It was it was a very odd and almost creepy way to wake up. And I looked over my shoulder and I said, "What?" And he could barely talk, and he said, "I won." And I'm still waking up, so I said, "Okay, what did you win?" Because we were thinking we wouldn't hear back on the contest results till the very, very end.
Right.
And he said, "I won. I'm going to Rare." And I shot out of bed, and we were both just like screaming and so excited. It was absolutely the best way to start a day that early, for sure.
Right. I know my early days like that just kind of, involved me running around the house, trying not to bump into anything as I get ready for work. So.
Yeah.
So, I mean, at the time when you won, obviously you couldn't tell anyone that you'd won because,
Right.
obviously none of us really found out till later on. But you say you told Mandie right away. Did you know at that point that Mandie had an invite to go as well, or did that come later?
No, that came
Days
much
before.
later. Yeah, that came much later. I did reach out throughout the next couple of weeks while we were kind of coordinating the whole trip with them, and I asked if she could come along on the trip, if
The intention with that really just being I had never been to England and always wanted to go. And my hope was that I could just be at the hotel when he would get back from Twycross on those 2 days and be able to chat with him about what it was like. I wanted to be there in person with him. And I had been planning on going to see Shakespeare's house and Anne Hathaway's house and the jewelry district. So I had a bunch of other things lined up, no idea that I would get to go to Rare until about 2 or 3 days before we actually left.
Oh, wow. Awesome.
By the way, I need to correct you there. It's called the Jewelry Quarter, not the Jewelry District.
Thank you. Okay, yes. Well, someday I'll make it back there.
Yeah, definitely. Well, that's one thing I was going to quickly comment on, I suppose. I mean, like, it's amazing that you got to go to Twycross, and obviously even more so for Jeph. But yeah, I suppose it would be nice to have like an extended trip, because from what Chad and Hyle said on their conversation, I don't know if you guys have listened, but they said they kind of got there on the Saturday and they were gone like first thing Wednesday morning, so they had like pretty much no tourist time at all.
Yeah, it was very focused, and we had a lot on our agenda. The only real touristy thing we got to do was this scavenger hunt, which we'll talk about in a little bit.
Okay, yeah. Sorry to skip ahead. You guys.
Spoilers.
So pretty much, there was a few weeks of coordinating and getting everything set. We're planning on just Mandie would kind of go around and sightsee, but like she said, we got the official invite for her just a couple days before. So we left here on a Friday afternoon, the 20th of May, and got there Saturday morning. It was a 10-hour flight. We ended up on different flights just because of the way it worked out and when we could book all of that stuff. So
also, Rare didn't actually arrange Mandie's flight for her like
No.
did the rest.
No, it was all on us to get her there. That was one of the stipulations.
I suppose that's fair. That's fair enough, because otherwise,
Yes,
like everyone would have
absolutely.
wanted to take a guess.
Right, exactly. So I was booked. I went through Amsterdam, which was a 10-hour flight from here, and then she went through Iceland, which I think was like nine and a half hours, and then we both took a little hopper hour flights to Birmingham, and we got there Saturday afternoon. Drove into the hotel, which was called the Malmaison, which is for anyone that knows Birmingham, it's basically right next to or in the mailbox. So I learned that while I was there, and we kind of just chilled that afternoon. Mandie took a nap, and then I did ask permission to meet up with a friend who lived in the area, which was Kev, as I think we've talked about and posted about. So Kev and I went out to a pub, had a beer, met in person for the first time, and it was pretty exciting. First Rare and Friends staff meetup.
Yeah. I was
And
very
then,
jealous.
That was pretty awesome. Yeah.
I was just getting all of your...
obviously, like, I couldn't really tell anyone myself about it. I was already out in town that day with a couple other friends.
Right.
And then, obviously, you sort of messaged me, not long before the trip saying, look, I asked Emma if we could meet, and she said it's fine as long as we stay quiet about it. And I kind of wanted to scream, like, yeah, I'm going to meet a Rare and Friends staffer, but I had to keep it all quiet. And, no, it was quite surreal getting to meet up with you, because, like, in my mind, you're just this American voice that exists within podcasts. But you actually had a whole body. It was amazing.
Yes, Americans
yeah,
usually do to go along with the voice.
Yep, exactly. So we had a good time. We walked around the town center a little bit, not downtown as Kev informed me, just the town center, and then went back to the hotel. There was Rare had put together a dinner for all the winners and just in the hotel restaurant, and so we did that night, and then went to bed, and then the next morning started our first journey along with the folks from Rare. And did you have anything you wanted to add into that day?
Oh, the dinner was really nice. Definite highlight of the day, though, was when I was getting ready to head back up to the room, and there was Kev, and I got to get a big old English hug, and it was so wonderful. Far too brief of a chance to say hi, but
the way
it was
you
wonderful.
worded that sounded a little bad. You said I headed up to my room and there was Kev. It makes it sound like I was hiding in your room.
Oh no!
She was leaving the restaurant to go to her room, but along the way,
Yeah, man, such a stalker.
Oh my gosh. Do we need to re-record that?
No, that was quite surreal because literally, obviously, Jeph couldn't tell me exactly where everyone was because all the other guys were on the trip. But he said if I was still around, we could all have a nightcap together. But then, like, my last train was leaving, and I guess like you guys were getting pretty tired as well because I think you said your dinner took like 3 hours to get all the courses
Wow.
through. So I literally just
It
ran
was
into the
ridiculous.
bar to say goodnight, and then like out of nowhere, Mandie popped up, and she was like, "Kev!"
yeah.
Exactly like that. Yes.
Did you just instantly recognize him, Mandie, from his famous video entry? Or
Yes, I did. I knew who he was right away. And actually, one of the things I learned on this trip that I will be very mindful about anytime I ever visit places out of the U.S. again is that it's not always okay to just run up and hug people. For Kev, it was fine. It was a lovely big bear hug. But I did learn that it's not necessarily the commonplace thing to just run and hug people right away.
Yeah, I guess we're just that much more friendly in American. Or in America. In America.
Yes, so.
An American.
In American.
Yep.
So,
I mean, that takes us through the first day there, and then so the next day we got up, met in the lobby. I don't even remember at 9 maybe, and we're sitting down there, and there was all the guys from the trip, and first one there from Rare was Bobby, I think, and so we met him, and what?
We knew it would be him and Emma.
Okay, yeah. So they had told us that for the day's activities, we knew we were doing a scavenger hunt. We knew that it would be Bobby and Emma for sure. We didn't know if anyone else. They said that maybe some more people from Rare would show. And so we saw Bobby there. We're like, oh, it's exciting. And then Cameron showed up, and we were like really excited to meet him. And then Joe Neat showed up, and it was like, holy cow, there's gonna be lots of people here from Rare.
oh, wow.
And so Joe ended up just sitting down on the arm of the couch I was sitting on in the lobby, like right next to me, and I was like just sitting there like, oh my god.
He handled it very well. I think I was having a harder time than he was with the whole thing.
So, so we grouped up, and this one we didn't meet early in the morning, did we? This was closer to noon, right?
Because we had lunch.
Because we were doing lunch. Yeah, I was thinking of the next day. It's all a blur. Okay, so this is closer to noon, but so we met up, and we headed to a place called Nando's, which is this, I don't know, they had chicken wings and other food like that. It was in the mailbox right next door. So we went to lunch, and we're getting all situated there. And then in comes Louise O'Connor of Conquer fame and Viva Pinata fame. And she ended up sitting down right next to me. That was the next open seat. And so that was really exciting. That was like my second holy crap moment of the day. And just we're chit-chatting along, and then this huge group of people came in, and it was like Shelley and Andy Preston and Mike Chapman, and who else came along? I feel like there was so many people.
John was there.
Yeah.
John Vincent.
John Vincent. Okay.
Oh, no, not John Vincent. John from the recording team, the video team.
Oh, John McFarland.
John McFarland. Yes, sorry. I was blanking on his last name, but it was a
Too
very
many
big
Johns.
starstruck moment. I didn't see this whole group of people come in, and I turned around, and they were all standing right behind me. And I was so looking forward to meeting Shelley. She's been featured in some of their YouTube videos, and so I was really embarrassing and fangirled a little bit when she just showed up right behind me.
Right behind you.
So I suppose that
So-
actually that leads me to a question that I wanted to ask anyway. So you say you Mandie, you got really excited when you saw all these people. So are you a big Rare fan yourself, or has it kind of been like recently you've really gotten into Rare?
I am, and I didn't realize until Jephren came into my life, actually, how Rare had been in my life previously. We didn't grow up playing tons and tons of video games, but GoldenEye was definitely one of them that my sister enjoyed when we were younger. And as long as Jeffren's been in my life, which is over 4 years now, Rare has been a big part of my life. So as the years have gone on and we've sat down and watched YouTube video after YouTube video and all kinds of documentaries, and he's played through lots of the different games with me, I was a big fan. And watching all the videos, especially some of the more recent ones, I was so excited to get to meet some of these people. And I wanted to see John Vincent in person and figure out, does he really talk like this? And is he this charismatic and awesome and fun in real life? And I'm so happy to say he is.
Yeah, he's
Nice.
a bit of a heartthrob, isn't he, John Vincent?
Is it allowed? Am I allowed to say that right now?
Yeah.
But yes, I was Twitter pated, to say the least.
He seems like someone who could be an actual pirate, like a captain.
Yes.
He basically is.
Awesome.
So we had that lunch, and then we did this team activity that I hinted at earlier, the scavenger hunt, which basically, I don't know, I keep calling it that. I don't know if that's really what it was, but we there was a GPS app, and we split up into 4 teams of like 4 or 5 people each, and basically went around the area and tried to find, like, I don't know, things on the sides of buildings or street signs, or it was like, find this carving on this building and what letter is right below it and the sign name and stuff like that you'd have to fill in, and you're awarded points. So we spent a few hours doing that. It started pouring on us at the beginning, and then it cleared up, and it was a beautiful afternoon. It was really cool. And we ended up winning that, which we were excited about but didn't really think too much of. But we
So
ended up getting these cool little jump drives that
Awesome.
were Rare branded.
nice. So I think at this point you'd already met all the other winners, right?
Yeah,
You
so
met them
that
at the
would
dinner.
have.
Okay.
We mostly met at the dinner. Sorry. Yeah.
Do you want to like
There's so much.
yeah, I know, no problem. You want maybe like walk through who else was there, so that the listeners will probably, because we're probably gonna refer to them all later, maybe just the listeners have an
we'll paint a
idea
picture.
of who all was invited.
Okay, so yeah, the contest winners. So obviously Mandie and I were there, and the other contest winners we had Jackie, who she drew the Kraken battle or painted in the contest reveal. Alex, who was the guy that did the dance party, and then Olivier, the guy who was like super hyper and running around screaming in his video, and Rodrigo, who did the computer animated Pirate Dream. And then let's see.
Chad.
Chad. Yeah, that guy. Chad, who did his poem and of DK Vine fame, whom we reference a lot on this show. And then in addition to us, the winners, there was 6 additional, what Rare called super fans there. So there was the 2 guys from Pirate Port Radio / Sea of Thieves Central, which is Abstracticus, Mike, and Sebastian, who's from Sea of Thieves Central, and those 2 do that. Heil from DK Vine was also there. Dan from Rare Fan Debase and KI Central, and Amir also, who contributes to those and also does previously Rare Minion, now Rare Thief. And then there's just so many people. Let's see. I know there was
The guy from
more.
Rare Gamer, right? Was it Steve or Paul? I always get their names.
Steve.
mixed up.
Yes, Steve from Rare Gamer was there.
Oh, Steve was so fun.
Yeah, he was a kick. Is that 6?
Yeah, that's
I know. We're
And
counting
then,
on our fingers here so we don't forget anyone.
And then
Oh, and don't forget
Sebastian's dad.
that guy's dad,
Yeah, Sebastian's dad was there too. 'Cause,
Captain Scott.
he's younger than 18. Yeah. So we all were the ones at the dinner that first night, and it was great getting to kind of meet them, talk to them, and it was really cool just because obviously we all had a common interest in Rare, sort of like all of us on Rare and Friends do. It's super easy to talk to because we have huge common interests. So, so back to the scavenger hunt, I guess, is each of us were put with 2, maybe 3 Rare employees in our groups, So our group was Alex, Amir, Mandie, and I, and then we were with Bobby and Cameron. So we called ourselves the Booty Hunters, which was Mandie's name that she picked out when we were trying to come up with a name. Very clever. And yeah, we went around and did that. And it was really fun. Got to talk to everybody in our group a little bit more and get to know them. And then after that, we went to a pub and met up. And there was a couple other Rare employees there. So we were the last group finished, and we got there kind of late. And we had a dinner planned for later. But so we go into this pub, and there's a group of everybody in the corner in these these kind of wraparound benches and stuff. But then there was some overflow into a booth that was adjacent. And so I was standing. There wasn't enough sitting room for everybody. So I was standing, and I was leaning against that booth next to some gentleman who I had no idea who he was. He was talking to Amir and a couple of the others. And Mandie asked, she's like, "Do you know who that is? Does he work for Rare?" You continue.
Okay. So yeah, I said, "Hey, is that a Rare guy, or like is it someone's dad? Is it a friend from around here?" And he's like, "Yeah, I have absolutely no idea." So I said, "Okay, hang on one second." So I leaned over to Cameron and I whispered and I said, "Hey, Cameron, the guy sitting right here, is he a Rare guy or something?" And the look on Cameron's face was priceless. He goes, "Mandie, that's Lee Loveday."
Oh.
Which at that point, then I realized, oh yeah, that's why I wouldn't have recognized him.
No one knows what he looks like because he's a man of mystery.
Indeed.
Yes.
So at that point, I was like too starstruck to even like lean in. I didn't want to interrupt because they were in conversation.
He did. His face turned every shade of purple that was possible. I didn't know if he was still breathing.
Yeah, I was in shock. So not too long after that, like we just kind of kept talking to, I think we were talking to like Joe and Cameron and Bobby. And so after that, we were leaving to head to the restaurant. And I was just kind of holding the door for everyone. And Lee kind of came up to me and he like stuck out his hand and he goes, "You're Jeph, right?" And I was like, "Yes." Like he knew who I was. So I was really excited. So then we walked over, we went to a Brazilian steakhouse and had dinner there with everybody. And just after we got seated, in walks Craig Duncan, studio head of Rare, and just just came out for dinner with all of us, and it was really exciting. So yeah, we just kind of hung out there for a couple hours, and I sat between Emma and Joe, and I hadn't yet really talked to Emma. I just kind of had said hi to her before the scavenger hunt thing, so I got to chat with her, and she's very delightful. And I don't know, do you want to have any comment on that, honey?
Oh, the dinner was just surreal, and everybody kind of went quiet, and everyone's eyes got huge, and my back was facing the door, so I didn't realize what happened when Craig arrived. But by the time I turned around and saw who it was, I understood why everyone was suddenly so starstruck. But the dinner was great, just another great chance to get to chat with maybe a few other people you hadn't sat by previously, and before we knew it, it was time to head back to the hotel because we had a very early start to the next day.
Yep. So went back to the hotel, went right to bed. I mean, pretty.
Before you skip to the next day, can I just? Did you actually speak to Craig Duncan much on that night at the steakhouse?
Not too much. He ended up sitting at the head of the table, and I was we were kind of right in the middle. It was like a really long double table.
Craig one end and Lee the other.
Exactly.
Yeah, Chad said that. It was like the two titans of Rare.
Exactly. The old guard and the new guard. It was pretty cool. So I talked to him a little bit as we were leaving the restaurant, and then that was pretty much it. Not too much because he was down at the end.
Okay.
So we all walked back to the hotel, I think, and some of the others who had driven into town or taken the train, they went the other way. And Bobby was staying at the hotel. Just situationally, it worked out best for him. He's American, I guess, and didn't have his license, and he'd been carpooling. But I think they figured it'd be easier to have somebody from Rare with us for the ride into Twycross, and kind of just as a facilitator and all that. So it worked out pretty well. So Bobby walked back to the hotel with us, and he had his own room. And pretty much all went to bed. Mandie and I were just kind of talking about our day. We did a little vlog for her, which you guys should all check out if you haven't. And then we went to bed, and the next morning we were going to meet at 9 a.m. in the hotel lobby. So
I love how you call it a hotel lobby, even though it's not an American hotel. That's awesome.
what do you call
What
it?
is it supposed to be called?
The reception area.
Reception.
Oh.
That's all right. That's all
Fine,
right.
the
It's just
reception
cute
area.
hearing an Americanism when you're talking about a British hotel. It's just quite surreal.
Well, that's
Who knew?
it is kind of funny, but we were all from North America, all the winners and super fans, and then and then Bobby was the rare representative, so he was American.
Meet in
so
the
we all just
lobby.
called it the lobby. Meet in the lobby,
Nice.
guys.
Oh wow! Did you hear the way he said that? That was weird.
Oh, yeah. Kev does an incredible American accent.
He does. He's very talented.
Thank you.
First time he ever quoted me on the show from a forum post. It was beautiful. It was, well, I'm Jeph. Hi, guys.
That's how we all talk, just like that.
Basically.
Mhm.
Yeah.
He's got it down. He understands American culture perfectly.
Yeah. So in the reception area, we all met up, and we were sitting down on the couches down there, and kind of just like, I don't know, it was sort of this, not silence, like we were all talking, but just sort of this like nervous anticipation for what we all knew was about to happen. So we sat there, and promptly, like right at 9, a little mini bus showed up and picked us up, and we got on there and headed out to the countryside. So it's about a, I don't know, 45-minute drive out to Twycross from where we were staying.
It felt so much longer.
Yeah, it felt like forever.
Yeah, Twycross. The problem is it's awkward to get from the centre of Birmingham. It's like there's no straight road. You kind of have to go up and around and all over the
Exactly.
place to get there.
Yeah, it was.
I'm not saying I've driven there
It got to a
myself
point where-
to hide outside it. You know.
Right. I wouldn't do that if I lived close by.
We got to a point on the drive where it was like people had run out of things to say as far as how excited they were, but there was all this nervous energy. So at one point, almost every single person on the bus was just nervously tapping out like song tunes on their legs.
Yeah.
And I don't know if everyone was on the same page with whatever the song was, but we just kind of stopped all of a sudden and realized what was happening.
Yep. It was pretty funny, and there's a roundabout that you go through just before you get to Twycross when you're on the main road, and it had some sign for Conquer. Don't even know what it was referring to, but Bobby was telling us that's where they had drawn the inspiration for the name, so that was pretty cool. And then we passed like the Twycross Zoo and a couple other things, and then through the town we must have passed by the old studio, the original studio, but weren't quite sure exactly where it was. I had a rough guess based on what I'd researched before the trip, but not sure.
Apparently,
Twycross Church.
apparently the sheepy shop has closed down in Twycross now, so you guys wouldn't have seen that.
I've heard that. I didn't see anything about it, so I
Heartbreaking.
assume so. Really sad. But yeah, we passed like the Twycross Church. Looks like the one from Mad Monster Mansion, and it was really cool. So then we knew we were close, and like I said, I had looked it up on Google Maps beforehand, so I knew what direction it would be and where it was. So I was like pointing out, I was like, you guys, that group of trees over there, it is literally on the other side of those. And Bobby was like, yep, it's right over there. And so the next thing was we turned a corner onto Watery Lane, and then immediately took another right, and there was these grand gates and these brick pillars on either side with like the Rare logo made out of horizontal bars and shadows. Just kind of a really cool illusion. It wasn't like the Rare logo outright, it was just a bunch of horizontal lines, but it was really cool. And at that point everybody just started like screaming and freaking out. Like there's no other way to describe it. Like we were all like in hysterics. Like everybody
Nice.
was like, oh my gosh, there's Rare. So the gate opened for us. I think security was watching for us, and the gate opened, and we started our drive up the infamous Rare driveway. And I mean, it was just like people are like, "Oh my God, there's rare ducks! Oh look, there's a bench! Oh look, there's water!" Like, just kind of being funny, but kind of being serious at the same time.
Do you kind of
What was
see
it
it
like
in
for
the
you?
distance as you approach? Like, is there sort of
Uh,
like a moment you saw it, just sort of in the distance as you approached?
there was, but there was kind of a lead up to
Okay.
that.
Oh, sorry.
Um,
Continue.
Yeah, no, yeah, no. Trust me, it was unbelievable. So, what was it like for you, honey?
It was so exciting, and just the energy on the bus was crazy. And I was recording as best I could to capture everyone's reactions from where I was sitting at the very front of the bus. And we went in and we didn't really know what to expect leading up. I think in my mind I thought we'd go through the gates and then we'd drive right to the front door, and there's when the excitement would start. However, I feel like we barely made it through the driveway on the way up, and I guess at the point where you could see Rare from afar, there were 2 piñatas from Viva Piñata. There was a horstachio and a fudge hog, and we all lost our minds. We all erupted into screams like kids who had just seen Santa.
Yeah, we literally came around a corner, and there they were, like waving at us. The costumes, like from
Oh, yes.
some of their videos.
They were dancing. They were so excited and cute.
Awesome.
So at that point, everybody just lost it and was like screaming and clapping and cheering. The bus driver probably thought we were all insane, but that's okay. I think we all kind of were at that point. So yeah, there it was. There was Rare. There was the building. It was kind of up just a slight incline, so it was kind of majestic. And we continued on down the drive, and there was the old banjo statue was there, the saber statue that was commissioned from the first Dinosaur Planet E3.
I want that statue.
It was so cool. There was the old Conquer statue was along the driveway, and then the Kazooie statue was the last one. And then there we were at the front entrance. Like, it was just, I was at that point I started hyperventilating.
He was crying. His face again was purple.
Yeah.
I wasn't sure if he was going to make it off the bus, but,
Yeah, I thought I might
he
pass
did.
out.
Yeah, Chad and Hyle said that you were crying on their podcast. But in a polite
Oh,
way,
good.
they said it was really
Called
sweet to
out.
see it like get to you so much. It was like,
Yeah, it was. I mean,
Overwhelming.
yeah, it was overwhelming. It was like, I obviously have admired Rare for 22 years, and kind of when they were building the new studio was around the time I'd started getting internet, so I'd kind of seen a few updates. I also had, there's a Nintendo Power article about the new facility and how it had like a mocap studio, and Ken Lobb pretended to infiltrate it, like all this stuff and all this lore about the place.
Yeah.
So since I was like a little kid.
It's been like the chocolate factory.
Yeah, I'd say like it's been Willy Wonka's chocolate factory.
I know. I remember
um,
seeing that first shot, when they built the new studio, that first screenshot they showed what it looked like.
Yeah,
It just from that moment on, it became like a mythical place. So I totally understand
exactly.
to see
yeah.
that after all those years, the first time when we saw that, and then that fact to finally be there in person, like 20-some years later, it must have been amazing.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, like it was overwhelming, and I'm not ashamed to say I cried. I was so happy. So we kind of got off the bus, and we're kind of standing just outside the entrance and kind of regrouped. Cameron and Emma met us out front, and Bobby was with us from the bus. And we could kind of see into the lobby. It's that big glass entryway, and we could see that there was people in there, and it was like, oh, okay. And then sort of this moment happened. We were all regrouped. Somebody had forgotten their backpack on the bus. They were so excited, and the bus driver brought that off, and then
I didn't even notice that.
yeah, yeah. And then we went inside, and as we walked through the doors, it was just this overwhelming. It's this big 3-story lobby, foyer, whatever, reception area, and there must have been, I don't know, 40, 50 people, 30, I don't know. There was a bunch of the staff in there, like a third of the studio was there, and they all just started clapping as we walked in, and it was.
You just walk into this eruption of applause, and I likened it to the ending of Titanic when Rose passes away, and you see that scene with her going back onto the Titanic, and everyone's clapping, and Jack reaches out for her hand, and that's what it felt like. And the guys were joking on the bus, like, we must have just died, and this is heaven. So it was kind of funny that we did walk into the applause like that.
Yeah, it was. Again, I lost it even more at that point, and I was like, "Oh my god!" and crying. And Louise, who had lunch with the day before, she came over to give me a hug, and she saw I was crying. She's like, "Oh no!" And it was it was surreal. So from that point, and we're kind of going long on time, so kind of give you the abbreviated version. You guys can kind of ask questions as you want. But we went on a studio tour. They did a little bit of a presentation for us, and then we got to play the game for the first time.
Can I just ask, sorry, the studio tour? So what
Sure.
did they show you around the entire facility, like all the barns and everything?
Yeah, I'd say 90% of the studio from looking at it from the outside. They took us through 2 of the barns that day, or 1.5 of the barns that day. So we got to go through the one where Emma and the community team are, and we went through the first floor of that barn. We weren't allowed to see the second floor of that barn. We went through the Sea of Thieves barn itself, the one that has the cannons on the side, both downstairs and upstairs. That was really cool. And then we ran out of time, but the next day we went through the third barn, which was just the art barn, and that one, the whole first floor is set up, and then half of the second floor is being used, and half of it was just not being used. We didn't get to see the fourth barn only because of time, but they were telling us that was where technical services and stuff like that.
Oh, what, like servers and stuff?
Yeah, network stuff, Xbox Live research, stuff like that is my guess. I'm not really sure. They kind of just hinted at it.
So,
I can't remember exactly which barn it was in, but we did end up getting to see Chris Marlowe at his desk, and he put on a lovely impromptu performance for us.
Yeah, that's true. and
Oh,
we weren't allowed to
man.
take pictures or film in the barn. We were allowed to take pictures and film everywhere else. So we were all like, "Oh no, don't do it now. We can't film you." But
Yeah, he sang the Great Mighty Pooh song.
yeah,
Uh,
it was incredible. What were you gonna ask, Kev?
no, sorry, I was just going to ask, that first barn, you said you weren't allowed to go upstairs. Was there a reason for that, or can you not really say, or?
They wouldn't say.
Oh, okay.
Um,
No,
yeah,
sorry, I don't
so
want to, put you on the spot, but so
if I had to guess, I would say incubation or just prototyping of future projects would be my guess.
Okay.
I'd really
I could
don't know.
understand why they wouldn't want to, like, it sounds like they really trusted you guys with a lot of stuff, but I suppose, like,
Yeah,
regardless
really did.
regardless of secrecy, I think if I ran a studio, I'd only want people to see the bits where stuff was actually, properly happening in development,
Right.
So
Totally. And I understand, and we understood. So, yeah, so we got a full walking tour of the grounds, kind of the perimeter of the building anyway, not the full grounds because it's huge.
It was a beautiful day.
And it was a perfect day. It was supposed to rain the whole time we were there, but by the time we got there, it had just been beautiful.
yeah, because I was going to say the Saturday when I met you for a beer, it was just absolutely horrible. It was like the most stereotypical
Right.
what you would think of as a British day.
For real.
Grey
It's
and
true.
wet and muggy and ugh.
Yeah. Let's see. Part of the rest of the tour, the main building itself has the music studios on the second floor, and there's a few offices for the I think it's like the 4 main sound guys. We got to see the actual recording studio. We got to see Robin's kind of office where he does some composition. A little bit of John's office, and the other guy, forget his name. I think it's Guillermo. He goes by Spiky on Twitter, and yeah, it was really cool, and we got to hear Robin play the hurdy-gurdy for us, and a little bit of the behind the scenes of the music, and then he played the music that you guys heard in the gameplay reveal trailer from E3. He played that for us on a really nice sound system. It was really cool.
Nice.
Other than that, let's see, we did a lunch that day at
Well,
the...
then right after that we played Sea of Thieves.
Okay, so yeah, right after the tour we played Sea of Thieves. We also did lunch at Arbites, their canteen, or as we call it, cafeteria.
We say
And-
either, like over here.
Do you? Okay. They all refer to it as a canteen, so that's what.
Yeah,
Okay.
generally
They
you say
call it.
canteen when it's a work cafeteria. You'd say cafeteria if it was more one that
Interesting.
was like
Oh,
part public,
interesting.
part work. So like
I have no idea.
you know, if it was say a college which is open to the public as well, that would be a cafeteria.
Mhm.
Whereas if it was a private work
Okay.
office, you'd say canteen. It's stupid, like
Okay,
they all mean
good
the
to
same
know.
thing.
Because I don't think we really use canteen at all in the States.
No, we don't.
Anywhere. I
Not
can't think of
really.
any time I've heard
Just-
it referred to as
Only
that.
in
As
Just in
reference to
Star
Star
Wars.
Wars,
Yeah.
yeah.
yeah, I know. That's what I was
Canteen.
actually thinking about. Was that we hear canteen, I just think of like Tatooine with that,
Yeah.
the Mos Eisley.
And I think George Lucas
Yep.
specifically used that word because it was a bit more exotic. So, you know, it
Right.
wouldn't really be commonplace in American, you know, verbiage.
Exactly. I honestly don't remember what the rest of the day was like. We played Sea of Thieves a second time later in the afternoon. And it's
that-
all a blur.
Yeah, that was pretty much the entire day at the studio. We went out they bussed us out to another restaurant for dinner. That was the San Giovanni.
Yeah, this nice Italian restaurant in Twycross.
Oh,
It was
I've heard of
really-
that.
Really cool.
I've never been, but you
It
know,
was-
maybe that's one to
oh,
add
it
onto
was
my list next
beautiful.
time I go stalking them.
Yeah.
Yes.
It was great. And we sat at a table with Robin, Joe, and John.
John Vincent.
And then this nice lady Roxana, who's from Xbox marketing in London. I think marketing. She's from Xbox in London. And then that was pretty much it. We went back to the hotel and turned in because we had another early morning the next day.
Whoa,
the
whoa,
next
whoa,
day,
whoa. You missed the most important part.
what was that?
What did you eat at the Italian restaurant?
Oh, what did I eat? I think I had a steak. I did have a steak. What'd you have?
I remember I had crab cakes
Okay.
as my appetizer. I can't remember what I had as my entree. I'm sure I took a picture of it, so I'll get back to you, Kev. I can't remember for sure.
Okay.
But yeah, usually I have my steaks medium, but I decided to have it medium rare.
Yeah, that's the way you do it, man.
Oh.
Yeah, very
Really?
funny. But yeah, don't have a medium steak ever. That's just like, come on, you're not a child.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
I feel insulted, Gav, because I always get my steaks well done.
But like,
Do you really?
what's the
Yeah.
the point? Okay, very quick tangent. The point of a steak is that you're wanting to like you want to feel like you're eating a carcass. So if you have it well done, you may as well just eat a shoe.
Wow. Oh, poor Mandie. He's in shock right now.
Eating a carcass. No.
I thought that was the point.
I
of
like
steak.
it because it's a big hunk
Wow.
of meat that's really high quality. It doesn't need to be bleeding onto my plate. For it to
It-
taste
Thank you. I'm with you, Dave. I
It
wasn't
needs
going
to
to say anything, but
practically
I like.
still be breathing for me to enjoy it.
Somebody else sitting at the table, one of the fans, I'm not going to call him out, but he was sitting next to me and he got his well done too.
Oh.
Excellent.
And all the guys gave him a hard time.
Well, if
for it.
we've
You know what? I
established
wanna be
anything
his
today,
friend.
it's that Americans don't know how to eat steak.
Well, there's plenty of people here who like it
Most
like
of
that
them,
too.
yeah, a lot of people get a rare, medium rare. But anyway,
Okay, moving
so
on.
that was our Italian steak. Had some drinks, talked to the staff a little more, talked to Craig. So actually, to get to the restaurant, they actually drove us in their personal cars. So we ended up in the car with Craig Duncan. He drove us.
Nice.
Oh, nice.
Talked to him, yeah, talked to him a little bit, and then talked to him a little bit more once we got there, and just chit chatting. And it was kind of funny now that we know what happened at E3. I was like asking him, like, so are you going to be on stage presenting at E3 again this year? He goes, well, we haven't nailed that down yet.
Yeah,
But I think obviously they knew he would.
Of course.
But yeah, they were just trying to keep it all from us as far as how the E3 reveal would go. So he's like, oh, I don't know.
Well, that is
What's
that is
your-
strange actually, because yeah, for like a couple of weeks before E3, Rare's official line was, "We may or may not be at E3." But then, like a day or two before
Right.
E3, Craig Duncan started tweeting, "I'm on the plane to LA."
Well, I mean, yeah, but as an industry insider, it wouldn't be that weird to have the studio head
Yeah, I suppose.
in LA to check out everything and meet with the Xbox team, because there's probably a lot of studio meetings that happen there. But yeah, it was pretty obvious. They told us they would be there, but they told us we weren't supposed to say.
Oh, okay.
Like, and obviously we knew because we were playing the game, but the public had no idea how far along the game was. So
Right.
anyway, so that was day one at Rare, which was surreal and magical and unbelievable. Day two, we, got up, went to.
Breakfast.
Did we?
You
Yeah,
did.
yeah. I went to breakfast in the hotel because the first day we had it covered. I just didn't go.
Oh, so
and
what
then-
kind of breakfast was it? Like a full English breakfast or a continental breakfast?
It was just a continental, and it wasn't very good, honestly.
really?
But I may have just gotten there too late. I don't know.
Hmm.
You usually got to get
It
there
was-
early for the Continental. In all places I've stayed,
Yeah.
is everyone just steals the good stuff and leaves you
Yeah.
with the bad food.
I did have my first cup of English tea, which probably wasn't that genuine, but it was something. And then the bus picked us up, different driver, and we're going out to Twycross, and we were getting close, and we took this completely different way, and it was just completely backwards. And Bobby was like, "Oh, he's taking us the back way, I guess." And then I pulled up my phone, and I didn't have data on my phone, but I had GPS, so I was looking at the map. I was like, "Bobby," because I was sitting across from him. I said, "We're going away from the studio right now." He looked at it. He goes, "Oh crap!" So he went to the bus driver. He goes, "You're actually going to need to do a U-turn on this road and go back the other way." And the guy's like, "I'm trying to take you." And he's like, the driver was being argumentative. He's like, "I'm taking you to this zip code," and he's like, "Yeah, I know you are, but the studio's on this road the other way." So we turned around and went back, and it took us like twice as long to get there as it should have, which was funny. It should have been 45 minutes. I think it was just over an hour. It wasn't twice as long, but it was longer than it should have
Shit,
been.
so if you hadn't noticed on your phone, it might have taken even longer for you to...
Yeah, nobody else was saying anything. And
What if he
we
was trying to
passed
kidnap you all?
Twycross. What? Kidnapped?
What
you?
if he was trying to kidnap
I think
you
I
all?
would have been okay with that, staying in England. But yeah, the reason I noticed at all was because we had gone past the Twycross Church from two different angles, and I was like, why the hell are we doing this? Like, the studio is 5 minutes from the Twycross Church. Like, it's just down the same road and on the right. So, like, we shouldn't have been passing it twice from across a field. Anyway, so eventually we got to the studio again, and day two started similar to day one. Did some more presentations, tours, and played the game a little more. And then at some point we split up into two groups, and one group went to spend time with Robin in the studio, and then the other group played the game with Rare staff, and then we switched. And then there was another time where we were split up, and half the group went to play foot golf with Greg Males, and then the other team did something else. I don't even remember.
It was the studio time and the foot golf were happening.
Oh, okay,
opposite
that's what
each
it was,
other.
not the game, but it was, yeah, they were split. We were split into two groups, and half went to the recording studio and half went to play foot golf with Greg, and then we switched.
Nice.
So that was really cool, really fun. Had a good time with Greg out there on the Rare's giant field.
Did you enjoy the football?
And yeah, it was great. It was.
It was hilarious to watch, because Greg is unbelievably athletic. I mean, his legs are statuesque. He
Yeah.
is so strong, and I mean, this is one of his favorite things to do. So he's just unbelievably good at kicking the ball. And I think, first of all, these guys are playing. I opted out. I've got a bum knee, so I was taking pictures. But these guys are playing with one of their heroes to begin with. But then there's the nerves on top of it. So it was just, for some people, there were moments that was just a comedy of errors.
Yeah, a lot of kicks into the brush, a lot of
So-
really awful.
Is foot
Like
golf
short-
just essentially playing golf with your feet? You're just kicking a ball
With
to
soccer
a hole.
ball.
Okay.
Well,
Yeah.
when I've played
Without a
football,
hole, you just
there's
hit the
no
pin.
hole. You just have to hit the pin.
Yeah, that's all it
Oh,
was.
okay.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Because that would
And
be a
Rare
bit too
Scott.
much having to control it to go into a football-sized hole. I think.
Yeah. I don't know if you guys probably saw, right? Just a couple days before our trip, which you guys didn't know, but a couple days before, Greg Mails had posted a foot golf scorecard on his Twitter.
Oh, I think I
so
missed
we played.
that.
Okay, yeah, you should go back and check it out. We played the front nine. The back nine is just playing the front nine backwards.
All right.
Oh.
It's basically a horseshoe from their sun deck canteen exit, horseshoe around to the other barn, and then back again. That big field you always see in the distance when they do stuff there.
So I didn't notice that he posted that on Twitter, but one thing I did notice on Twitter was that you posted like, "Oh God, can't believe I got work tomorrow."
Yeah, I just figured I'd play it up a little bit. Like, oh, it was a long day at work. I'm gonna play Black Ops on backwards compat this weekend. Such a boring life I live. Just to, didn't want to hint like, oh, why is Jeph suddenly silent after he posts like 30 times a day? So,
Yeah, going back and reading those tweets, it can kind of. It was very apparent what you were doing. Cause it seems what was happening. Going back and reading them, it's like, wow, you're really just playing up how you're not at Rare the whole time.
yeah.
It's like you never posted that much before about what you were doing on your weekend.
Yeah, that's probably true, but
And then like with DK Vine, like Chad suddenly started posting at like completely random times because he was going on, obviously GMT,
Right.
BST now, British Summertime.
Yeah.
And like obviously I knew the reason because I met you. I knew he must be there too. But like
Right.
I think people were commenting like, oh, why is DK Vine's Twitter posting at weird times now? And I was just like,
Oh no.
Whoops.
I didn't say anything, but
Yeah, I made sure that all my posts were like time appropriate. Like I got off work at 4 p.m., so when it was 4 p.m. Pacific time, I would make a post like, "Oh, I'm heading home. I'm gonna go play banjo."
but don't you have any work colleagues on Twitter?
No.
Okay. Fair enough.
Yeah. So yeah, day 2 was very similar to day 1. We kind of finished our tour, went to the other barn, like I said. We had a barbecue that day, which is really funny because Rare posted on Twitter that day. I don't know if it was Emma or one of the others posted like, "Oh, we've brought out the sun chairs for our barbecue today." Like, it was really funny. I was like, "Oh, and we also have our amazing fans here, but we can't say that."
I love those sun chairs, by the way. Those new ones they have
I
all the
know.
characters
I
printed.
don't know why I didn't sit on one. I took pictures of them. I
They
took
were too
video of them.
pretty.
Yeah, I just like admired them, but I never actually sat on one.
So how
Rare
was
really needs
the,
to sell all this stuff. I'd buy it.
How was the barbecue?
Sorry.
It was really good. What was it, like burgers and
There were-
sausage?
Yeah, there was a couple different kinds of meat, a couple different kinds of salads.
Yeah.
All the British pop or soda.
Yeah.
However we. Oh wait, no, fizzy drink.
Fizzy drinks, what
pop.
Emma calls
We
it.
call it pop.
Fizzy drinks.
You call it pop?
Yeah, if
Okay.
it's like Coke and Sprite stuff like that, yeah, it's pop.
It's all
Okay.
soda. All
Yeah,
soda.
we don't say so. Like I know what soda means, but we don't really say soda.
Yeah.
So
No, we say pop up here too.
okay. So was that
But not very many places in America.
was that a lunchtime barbecue or like an evening barbecue?
Yeah, that was lunchtime.
Oh, okay.
Midday. That was right after we finished foot golf.
Hmm.
They had set up the barbecue like while we were out there playing, so it was pretty cool.
Nice.
But yeah, I mean, it was
Played the game again.
played the game a little bit more, and
Played with some rare staff.
yeah, that was when we played with the Rare staff, and that was kind of cool having one of them on our team. We had Louise on our team, and
One time, and then Mike
yeah,
Chapman another.
yeah. So
So was everything from the E3 trailer? Was that from like the first session? I don't think any of it was probably from playing with the Rare guys, was it?
no, yeah, I mean, I think it was all because that was when we were the most excited
Mhm.
and everything was new. What I can say about the E3 trailer is like it was genuinely how excited we were, but you gotta factor in that we had never seen it. We were at this place that we dreamed of going to our whole lives, and we didn't know anything about what to expect in the game. So it was just this genuine, like, oh my gosh, I can do this. Oh, this is hilarious. Just we just got really into it. So I want to guess or I want to guess. I guess that most of the footage was from our first
Okay.
session. There may have been a couple spliced together. It was definitely put together as a narrative to be like, you're exploring, you're drunk, you see another ship, there's an
Nice.
epic battle, and we sink the other ship. And then just after we sink the other ship, another ship comes in for another battle, and that's where the trailer ends.
Nice.
Interestingly enough, it was edited together that way a little differently than like the actual cruise we were on, or kind of. It works extremely well, and it tells a really good story.
Right.
So it was
So-
kind of cool.
Just because everyone is saying this on the internet, can you just officially confirm that you weren't coached or paid or anything for your reactions? Because it's driving me crazy
I
how
can
often I'm seeing that.
confirm right now, exclusively on the Logcast, we were not paid, we were not coached, we were simply there out of being huge fans of Rare, and we were just extremely, extremely excited and feeding off of each other's excitement.
Awesome. I mean, yeah, I mean, I knew that, knowing you, I know, but it's just really frustrating seeing how cynical people are being on Twitter and
Yeah.
NeoGAF and Reddit. I'm just like, come on, guys.
I
Not
know, and it's a vocal
everything is-
minority.
yeah.
It sucks. It was kind of weird. I just didn't think about that it would get that much exposure, that we get haters like that. But I mean, there was never any like them saying, "Oh, you need to react this way," or "You need to say
No.
this." There was no script. I mean, it was literally, you have a controller, and you can react. I mean, just play the game. That was it. Just play the game.
Yeah, and it was really cool from my perspective because they had these 12 soundproof booths set up where everybody would go in to their own booth and be set up to play the game. And so I wasn't playing that first round because there were, the 12 winners and super fans, and Sebastian Stad and I were there kind of as extras. So I was actually able to stand with Shelly and Andy Preston and Mike Chapman and several other members of the team while they watched these guys play through the game for the first time. And it was unbelievable. It was so cool because I'm watching, I'm seeing my husband, I'm seeing all these new friends' reactions to playing the game, and I'm seeing the designers. They're so excited as they're figuring out, how to raise the anchor, how to lower the mass, and they were extremely nervous. And even Craig Duncan had remarked about that he couldn't remember ever having seen the Rare team so nervous as, bringing people in and really just letting them play with the baby, the project, and see what happened. So that was really cool.
Yeah, I did. I saw a little piece. I can't remember. It might have been on IGN, but Craig Duncan said this week that the first time when he watched the 12 superfans sit down to play it for the first time, he said that was one of the most emotional moments of his career. Like actually getting to see the
Oh.
reaction. So
That's really cool.
sounds like it went better than they could have even expected, because obviously, like, months back when this thing was first announced, obviously this would have been before you even knew you'd won. Like, literally the first week, me, you, and Dave were discussing, like, oh, how do you think they'll do it? How many people do you think will be there? Do you think you'll play it together or with staff? And there was so many ways they could have done it, but it sounds like it was pretty much the perfect setup for the first session. Just from what you said in your article on the site, where you like a thorough, in-depth article about your playthrough, and you say on there you weren't told anything. You were just basically strapped in. There was a little controller map on the wall, and that was it. Just go.
Yep, that was it. Yep. It was pretty crazy, and the game works so well in that regard, because I think if you were told stuff or if you were influenced, it might change how you play it. So it's kind of cool to just learn as you go and naturally discover things, and it was incredible.
Awesome.
Yeah. I'm definitely very jealous of you, Jeph, but I'm so happy for you guys at the same time. It sounds like you all had such a great time, and just sort of this whole thing that Rare was even willing to do this. It feels like all my years of being like a Rare fan, even when it wasn't popular to be, are like kind of like paying off, and like it's great to see the studio in the public eye again, and just seeing that. I don't know if I'm sure you guys all saw that picture on Twitter with all the awards on their E3 booth. This big long
Oh my
list,
gosh.
and it was just like this. I don't know. I felt like it was the '90s again, where everyone is talking about a Rare game, and it just makes me so happy. Like after all these years, like I feel like everything I love is starting to come back again, and it's kind of cool. I mean, it's not kind of cool. It's really cool.
Yeah, no, because like last year.
It was really exciting. Oh, go
Oh,
ahead.
so,
Jeff.
no, I was just going to say like quickly. Last year when Rare Replay was announced, that was pretty big, but it didn't really get the widespread mainstream attention in the way that Sea of Thieves had, because it was essentially just a collection of like ports and. But yeah, this year, like I was really interested to see how the general populace would react to Sea of Thieves, and it seems like it's gone down really, really well amongst. Now people have actually had a chance to play it. It seems like it's been one of the biggest games at E3.
Yeah, it's interesting. Even a lot of people who are like super cynical about it, like wasn't that guy at IGN who made that cynical tweet about everyone looking like they were paid actors, and then he actually wrote like a really good review of how much fun he had with it when he actually played it. So
Yeah.
that was really cool.
It was really neat from our perspective. I mean, I can't officially speak for any of the other people that got to go to Rare, but watching E3 was one of the most exciting moments of my life. You know, knowing the design team and having no idea what was going to happen, of course, in the trailers. But I think I can speak for both of us here and say that you feel a sense of ownership in the game. We've had nothing to do with designing it or helping create it or anything, but watching the team go and introduce the game to the world was so exciting, and you feel like you're a small part of this bigger team, and I felt so much pride for the team itself, for the game, and I'm just so excited to see what happens as the word continues to get out there and the world gets to see more.
Yeah.
Wonderful.
Yeah, it was an unbelievable thing to see that reveal trailer, the gameplay trailer, because again we had no idea, and I mean I was at work and I just started shaking and like hyperventilating like I do. But it was just like it was so exciting. Like my heart was just pounding. I can't imagine what it was like for Chad and Heil and Amir and Dan who were at E3, like sitting in the audience.
Well, I think Joe called Chad out for crying, right?
Yeah, Joe
Did
did.
you see
on
that
the first
footage of
video.
Chad crying? I can't remember where it was. It was on
Yes.
one of the roundups.
Rare posted a
Sorry?
video. Yeah, Rare posted a video of the fan
Yeah,
reactions.
that was it.
It's
And you
on,
just see like
their YouTube.
Heil and Amir are shaking and screaming, and like Chad's just like got his
Yeah.
hand in his head in his hands. And,
Yeah,
Yeah.
it was amazing. Must have been amazing for them to be
Yeah.
there.
And then I saw that Chad even got to meet Phil Spencer, like at
Yeah.
the show floor.
Yep, I saw
Man.
that. That's
Yeah, I saw
so
that
cool.
picture.
So I know you guys haven't got long left. Do you want to wrap up that final day? Tell us how it all went down.
Yeah, so we kind of wrapped up the day in the canteen with pretty much anybody from the studio that we hadn't really had the chance to talk to was invited. So a lot of people came down and we just chit-chatted with them. They let us kind of get autographs if we wanted them. So I had asked Emma beforehand if I could, the big Sea of Thieves banner from the end of my fan entry video, Play It First contest video. I asked Emma if I could have the team sign it, and she's like, oh yeah, I'll put it in reception throughout the day. And so first thing in the morning, we laid it out at the reception table with a Sharpie, and by the evening when we went to kind of collect everything, it had a huge portion of the studio, like at least 75% of the studio that was there that day, I think. I'm not 100% sure, but there's a lot of signatures on it. Had signed it, and that was so cool. And then throughout the day, I also got my banjo cartridge signed by Paul Machacek and Greg Males, and then I got my Conquer cartridge signed by Robin, Louise, and Chris Marlowe, which was really cool. And it was one of the funniest moments and one of the highlights of my trip was I was holding both cartridges at the time, and Robin, when I went up to Robin to have him sign it, and he holds them kind of in his hands like he's weighing them. And he's like, you feel that heft in the Conquer cartridge? He goes, that's all me. That's my music. It was so funny. Because it is physically heavier because it has more ROM in it.
Right.
But it was really cool. And then at lunch, what we forgot to mention, at the barbecue, a big group of us sat upstairs on that balcony that you kind of always see in just outside the main building. We kind of sat in a big circle there, and then Mandie asked Chris Marlowe if he would sing the Mighty Pooh song again so that we could record him And then he turned around and asked Mandie if she wanted to sing it along with him. So Mandie and Chris sang the Great Mighty Pooh song. She knew the first verse, so she sang along, and then just we stood there in awe as he
Yes.
continued and
In total awe.
recorded that, and it was amazing.
So you were singing that
Um,
like expletives and all. Like,
Oh yeah,
Yep.
I just imagine like, I don't know.
It'll be up on YouTube as soon as I can get it all
Oh.
edited.
Oh, I can't
I've
wait
got
to
a
see
vlog
it.
from basically each day, so.
Yeah.
What's it like just to be next to someone with that powerful of a voice singing like that? Because I imagine it, just seeing him. I've seen him sing on video before, and you always get the feeling that this guy can really project his voice.
yeah.
He can. It was incredible because it carried. In fact, Steve was down on the lawn, down beneath, and I don't know, Chris had been singing maybe through the first verse, and up you see Steve come flying up the stairs to record.
His camera.
Look
Yeah.
at this camera. He was so good about taking pictures and video. But no, that was one of the really fun things for me was getting to spend time with Chris Marlowe. He is so genuinely kind.
Yeah.
I mean, he would, I mentioned earlier about hugging. He gives hugs. He just goes in for the hug right away, which I always appreciate.
Yeah.
And yes, he has this huge voice, and he's, playing the character of this, expletive saying poo, but in the most charismatic and amazing,
Yeah.
sweet way possible.
Oh, awesome.
Yeah.
Man,
So after the meetup down in the canteen and just kind of we talked to the team for 45 minutes or an hour and got some stuff signed, they gave us some swag bags, which were like these. I don't know if I posted a picture of it, but it's a Sea of Thieves branded like laptop bag, and it had those pirate names that Greg Mails gives out. He gave us those, and then pretty much at that point we kind of wrapped and headed back to
To Birmingham for
and
Curry.
yeah, we met up at the hotel, kind of freshened up, and then went out for curry just
Nice.
near the hotel. And again, most of the team kind of came out and met us there.
Which
And that night,
which
actually,
Indian restaurant did you go to? Do you mind if I?
I'm gonna have to get back to you on that one. I don't remember.
again, I'm sure I took a picture of the menu, so I'll let you know.
nice.
It was a really nice.
Yeah,
one,
no,
though.
because
that night
the
was
area
nice,
you were
though.
staying in, that's sort of right next to. It's called the Balti Triangle, and it's like those. There's like a bunch of restaurants there, which are meant to be like the best Indian restaurants outside of India.
Okay, I have no idea.
Well, I hope it was nice.
It was a
anyway.
little bit of a walk. It was a couple blocks away. Yeah, it was really good.
It was nice. That night we were positioned more at the end of the table, and we actually got to sit right by Craig. And we also had Greg
Yeah.
right across from us. And was Lee on our end too?
No,
Who
I
am
never got to
thinking
talk
of?
to Lee.
Oh.
Joe, maybe. Yeah, so I sat right next to Craig during that dinner, and Greg Mails was like right across from me, and a couple other people were there, and I chatted with Craig the whole dinner, which was really cool.
It was kind of a bittersweet meal, because we knew the time was ending. We knew this was kind of our last chance to see all these
Yeah.
people. So there were lots of pictures happening, lots of thank yous already starting to happen, and
Yeah.
as we wound down.
Yep. And then after that, we most of us went out to the pub from that first day where I met Lee Love Day. We went back
Which
to that
pub was that? Sorry.
until it closed.
Bad Dog. or
Blue
something.
Dog, I don't know, something.
Okay.
Something with a dog.
It was pretty close.
I
It was
should've been.
around the corner from the mailbox. So we went there, and then that closed at midnight. So then we went to this kind of like club bar, a couple blocks away, and hung out there till it closed at 1. And then at that point, we were still with Ryan Stevenson was with us, Greg Mails was still with us, Joe Neat, Andy and Shelley, and Chris Marlowe from Rare. And then it was most of us, but not all of us, from the group. A few of them were either underage or went back to the hotel to sleep. We had to fly out at like 3 a.m., so we just decided not to sleep. So the team walked us back to the hotel. We stood out in front of there on the steps for like 20 minutes maybe, and just kind of said goodbyes and hung out for a little bit more, and took one final group picture and gave everybody hugs, and then that was it. That was the end.
Man.
Went back to the hotel, packed up, and went back to the room and packed up, and then we got picked up for the airport right around 3:30, and that was the end of our trip. We also we shared a cab with somebody from Microsoft marketing. His name's John. I'm not even sure how to say his last name, but he was there for the whole trip. He's the head of marketing for Rare on the Microsoft side, on Aaron Greenberg's team, I think. So
Oh, cool.
it was really cool meeting him. We shared a cab with him and had breakfast with him at the hotel. He took the same flight as we did from. Mandie and I ended up getting the same flight on the way home, but he was on the same flight to Amsterdam with us, and he kind of helped us out and showed us where to go and what to do, and got us kind of priority screening through
Oh, yeah, that was confusing.
British security. Yeah. So it was really good having him. He was really nice, and he actually, I asked him if it'd be possible to come see him in Seattle because it's only a 3-hour drive, and he was like, yeah, just let me know after E3, and shoot me an email, and we'd love to have you come up and tour the campus at Redmond.
Oh, nice.
So,
Oh, man.
gonna be doing that in a couple
Oh,
weeks, which is
shit.
really exciting.
Nice.
Forgot to mention that. So that was really cool. He's a really nice guy.
Man.
Um,
Sometimes I still
was
wish
it.
I lived in Washington just to be so close to all those companies.
We'll come visit. You can stay with us.
yeah.
I mean, how far away from do you live? Are you from say Olympia, Washington?
Olympia's
That's
like
where my
2.5.
family lives. 2.5.
Yeah,
That's
Olympia's
not-
like 2.5 hours. Yeah.
Yeah, because my mom and my brother live out there, so it's like I do need a reason to go out there at some point.
Well, we can pick you up on the way to Seattle. Just let us know.
Yeah, all right. Maybe I'll think about it.
Well,
That'd be fun.
obviously the same from my side as well. Like if any of you guys need a place to stay in England, my door's always open. Maybe
Appreciate that.
you get a more informal invite back to Rare, and they say maybe you want to bring Kev with you. And
Right. See what I can do.
no, but honestly, it sounds like you guys had the most amazing I guess it was only 4 days, but yeah, the most amazing 4
Yeah.
days of your life, really.
It was unbelievable. It was like everything I'd hoped and more.
He keeps hesitating and not wanting to say that it was the best day of his life because he doesn't want to offend me and say that it was better than our wedding. But I gave you full permission to just admit that openly. It's okay. It was the best day of your
It
life.
was as incredible as my wedding day.
Aw.
Aw.
But yeah, it was great.
Wow. I mean, I think you've done a really great job painting a picture, but it's one of those things you can't really imagine until you've ever experienced
No.
it. And
Right.
I mean,
I can't wait to see all the footage and everything that's going to come out of this from all the different people.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
I know there's going to be so
Yeah.
much.
There's tons of it. Sebastian's already posted his little video of it. Just check it out, Sea of Thieves Central, and then on YouTube, and also Paladin Topaz, I think, is on Twitter is his username. And then Mandie's posted, like I said, two vlogs already of it, documenting day 1 and day 2, and then she's got 2 more coming for each day at Rare. So those will be really exciting.
Oh yeah, I'm excited. I've been sort of not checking a lot of it out yet until we talked to you, so I could get sort of the initial walkthrough from you guys. But
Cool.
yeah, now I know I'm gonna have a lot to catch up on.
oh, you've got to watch
Yeah.
Mandy's first vlog. It's hilarious. They go into the hotel room, and she looks at the bed, and she goes, "Pillows!"
Oh, I know. Yeah, I'll be probably checking those out today, and then
Cool.
probably throughout my work week, I'll probably check out like Chad and Hyle's really extraordinarily long podcast that goes through it all.
Yeah.
So
Awesome.
yeah, it's
Cool.
gonna be so. So I'm just gonna do my best to live vicariously through all of you guys and pretend that I was there. So
So,
You were there in spirit, for sure.
Yeah. We talked you
Aw.
up big. Don't worry.
yeah, I really appreciate that, and you mentioned that to me that you did, and just the fact I think you mentioned to me that some of them even mentioned seeing my video and stuff and even knew who I was.
Yeah.
So that really means a lot to me. If any Rare guys are listening, just the fact that I've put a lot of
did
work
anyone
and
see
effort into
my
getting this.
video?
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, thanks for interrupting my heartfelt appeal.
Oh,
to
sorry,
Rare.
it went silent on my end. Start again.
These are the last 4 words.
Yeah, no, that's all right. Now I forget what I was saying, but I was just saying how how amazing it is for all the work and effort I did to get this off the ground as much as it did, just to get sort of that validation that they see what I'm doing and they're and they like that I'm doing what I'm doing, I guess.
Totally.
So that's
Yep.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I'm not articulating very well right now.
No,
but
you're fine,
yeah.
man. I get you're coming across really well. Trust me. I just want to ask because I know I know you've got to go soon, Mandie. But is there anything else you want to say about the trip or anything in particular we might have forgot to go over?
One thing that was a big takeaway for me coming back, and people have been asking how it was and what it was like. One thing that blew me away was the genuine kindness of everybody that is working for and is associated with Rare that we interacted with. They were all not just, welcoming and sweet and excited to see us, but every single person was incredibly humble. And these are the group of people that are, rock star celebrities within the Rare community, and they're huge in the gaming industry anyway. So I feel like in my mind they have the right to have a little bit of an ego and know that they're a big deal, but every person just really downplayed their incredible talent and just like I said, they were just so humbled, and that was one of the biggest takeaways for me. Is you just left feeling like you'd made genuine friendships, and it was just really heartwarming. I know that sounds really like girly to say on like a video game podcast here, but that was a favorite thing to just look back on for me.
Awesome. No, it's all right to be girly on the Logcast.
Oh, good. Well, I guess Jephren has cried a lot, right? So that's not too far off.
Yeah, no, we gush over Rare quite a bit, like 14-year-old girls, so it's all right.
Yeah, I remember last year when I did the, I think it was a stamp collection episode, and like it was like 3 hours long. And by the end, I was so exhausted and emotional. I think I got a bit teary. I was like, "Oh, so many games, so beautiful." Jeph, have you got any final thoughts? Anything you might have missed out that springs to mind?
I mean, it mostly would echo what she just said. It was everything that I had hoped for, is everything I kind of imagined it would be, and it like I wasn't disappointed in any sense or regard of it. Like, it was just, the studio was incredible, the people were amazing, the experience, the game was incredible. Like, I think we all kind of had that not self-doubt, but the sort of like, what if we go in and we play the game and we don't enjoy it? Because like that obviously is a possibility. But I'm happy to say I loved the game, and everybody else that played it there with us loved the game. Even coming out of E3, I can't think of a single thing I've seen that somebody said, well, it was okay. The worst I've seen is people are like, I wish it had more in it, more combat or more exploration. But, I think Craig Duncan keeps referring everybody, and Joe Neat too, keep referring everybody back to the cinematic trailer. And it's like, look at what you see in the cinematic trailer. All those things are our target, and we're going to achieve those. So if you just kind of go into it with that mindset, like, holy cow, there's so much. Like, this demo that we played, and the E3 demo was just one iteration past that, was just the tip of the iceberg. I mean, and it was incredible in its own right.
I don't think I've heard anything negative from anyone who actually played it. Almost all the negative things I see are just coming from like people on NeoGAF who just saw the trailer and didn't think it looked good.
Right.
Like, I haven't heard of a single hands-on. I've seen people be negative, then play hands-on, and then say it was amazing. So, needless to say, I'm very excited to get my hands on it, and now hopefully we'll all be playing together and be on a crew, and the Rare and Friends crew. We'll have to come up with a name for our crew, but that'll be later. I'm really excited because I think it is kind of, I mean, first I was kind of skeptical about a multiplayer focused Rare game, but I think it is going to be kind of cool to have that, just because of the way the community is now, just to have something that all of us at a community can get on Xbox and play together with. And
totally, like all the Rare fan sites, like we can all get on together. The Rare employees, we can probably join them if they're ever down. Like, it's really cool. Yeah,
it's just such a sort of outreach opportunity too. I mean, we even like just use it as a sort of a Rare evangelical, so like bring people into the Rare fandom. Like, hey, join our crew. We're gonna bring you into this fandom. if that makes sense. So it's an exciting outreach opportunity in a way to sort of, grow our community to bigger than ever it was before.
Yeah, and
so I'm very
from
excited.
everything I'm hearing, I think it's the right game at the right time. And I know, I mean, it kind of pisses me off if you look on the social media and YouTube comments, like a bunch of people reply, should have been Banjo 3. And don't get me wrong, I love Banjo,
Yeah.
but I mean, if you look, in the next 12 months, we're getting Ukulele and hopefully Sea of Thieves. So, like, we've
Yeah.
got a traditional Rare style platformer, and we've got this amazing experimental new multiplayer online game. Like, we are spoilt for choice. Look at where we were 5 years ago.
For real.
And that's not to take
Right,
anything
look where
away.
we were 2
Well,
years
yeah,
ago.
and as I say, I've said it many times, I'm not knocking the Kinect era. That's what they had to do at the time. But it wasn't for me.
Yeah.
So now we've got an exciting new IP, Ukulele, and even some of the smaller studios, like Nick Makin with Rage and Justice, and it's Rusty Pup from Gory Detail.
Yep.
It's like
Oh my
all
gosh.
the old Rare guys are kind of aiming for this 2016, 2017 blowout of all their content. And I mean, if anything, I'm worried after all these games have come out, I'm just going to hit a slump where it's like, oh, I want more.
I know. Yeah.
So
Well, the good thing is Sea of Thieves is going to have some longevity. Like, they've even said they're going to continually evolve it after it comes out, which is great
Brilliant.
news. So, yep.
I'm excited. Can't wait for all that Kraken DLC.
Yes.
right,
All right, yeah, we're probably keeping you guys, so I guess it's probably a good time to wrap up. Thank you guys both for being on. I mean, Jeph, you're kind of a regular, but special thank you to Mandie for getting up so early, because I heard you're not a morning person. So
Oh, did you out me to these guys? I see how it is. Well, no. Thank you for having me and including me. I'm thrilled to be able to chat about it. It was great to meet you, Kev, and Dave, I cannot wait to meet you in person. Hopefully that'll be sooner rather than later.
yeah, hopefully. I mean, we all, I think, have to find some excuse for a meetup somewhere at some
Totally.
point. So
You're always
yeah,
welcome with
definitely.
us.
if nothing has happened by the
Right.
end of the year, I'll just bankroll a huge meetup. It's got to be done.
Okay. Sounds good.
All right. Well, that would definitely be appreciated, Kev.
Okay.
But so I think we're all kind of excited to increase our friendship, because it's like I feel like I'm gotten to know you guys really good over like this past. I mean, geez, it hasn't even been that long, but I already feel like you guys are some of my best
Aw.
friends. So it's
Totally
great.
agreed.
Yeah.
Well, I kind of like you, Dave, but Jeff's
Aw. That's all right. I understand. I'm gonna go cry now. Anyway, do you guys want to say anything before? Or I think you already did your final.
Yeah, I think we're
Thoughts,
all set.
All right, cool. I'm not gonna say what the next episode's gonna be yet, but I want to talk. My goal is to try to talk to some more of the other winners. But last time I tried to talk to them, it didn't end up working out, so I don't want to say for sure. That's what we're doing next week. So
Yeah, well,
stay
yeah,
tuned.
we're gonna try and talk to a few other people. Also, don't forget Andrew had his trip to Baby E3. He's gonna come on and talk about that at some point.
Yep.
It's not very Rare related, but
Alright.
he made the trip, so it'll be interesting to hear from Andrew at some point.
Yeah. So yeah, hopefully if we'll have a lot more content about E3 and the trip coming up in the next few podcasts. I feel like we're gonna get a little bit backlogged, so I hope there's not too much new news, because there was so much news over like this past week that's
Probably
like
won't be
enough
until
for like the
Comic-Con.
next 2 months. So
Yeah.
Right. Well,
All right. Well, it's been a pleasure.
yeah, it's been brilliant hearing from you guys.
yeah, it has indeed. Yeah, thanks so much, and I guess we'll talk to you again later. See you guys. Have a good weekend, and we'll talk to you all next week.
See you later.
Bye.
Thanks. Bye-bye.
Bye.